What's up, y'all? This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. As you know, we are here to discuss life topics, to grow, challenge, and transform your thinking. Now, you guys are always listening to me and you're always responding and you're always doing really great stuff. I want to take a second just to personally thank you for all of the amazing downloads and the subscribers that have been pouring in. It's been an absolutely amazing experience. I never thought that this would happen, and it did. And it's because of people that I bring on here, these amazing humans that I bring onto this show to connect with you. And today I found another quite amazing human being. Her name is Michelle Trieste, and she's a survivor, a speaker, and a warrior advocate for women. And she, after suffering many years of abuse and forced isolation, Michelle found the courage to risk death and escape with only the clothes on her back and her children in tow. Now, you guys know that I am a huge advocate and proponent for amazing women. I love women, and I love for women to come on here and show you that you can overcome many things in your life. And what I really adore about Michelle is that she is really taking her life experience and everything she's been through, and she's helping women move and not be stuck anymore. So, Michelle, thank you so much for being on Straight Talk. I really appreciate your time.
Oh, I love being here. I love sharing with you.
I love it. I love that you're here. And I love your energy already. We had a little bit of talk right before we got on, and I have a really great audience, Michelle. So you're gonna have an amazing response from these beautiful humans. So tell us a little bit about who Michelle is, and then we'll go from there.
Well, I enjoy writing. I blog. I love to tell stories, inspire others to move ahead in life and don't be stuck where you are and go forward where you want to be in life. And I just enjoy lifting up other people. So that's what I love doing. I'm a grandmother.
Isn't that amazing? I love
Yeah,
that feeling.
yeah. Two
Yeah.
granddaughters. So even more the reason to talk to women and future generations on
Yeah.
how to move forward in life. And I
Yeah.
love talking. I love to ride my motorcycle. I ride it all the time, and so I get a lot of therapy, wind therapy, as I call it. And I'd
I'm a
love to
little
see more
jealous. I'm
women
a
on
little jealous,
motorcycles.
Michelle. I'm a little jealous. I'm a little jealous. I'm gonna just say it. I'm gonna just say it. Okay. I'm a little jealous.
It,
I have a sister-in-law and my brother who ride all the time, and it's so freaking awesome seeing all of the places they go and the pictures they take. And she wears the camera on her helmet, so
oh
you get
yeah,
to see the ride. Oh, it's
it is
so
great.
fun. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
called Robles on two, and they're really picking up a lot of like followers and stuff. It's really kind of
Oh,
fun.
good,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I
Yeah, yeah,
put a
yeah.
little on YouTube. I'll post some of my rides on YouTube because they're
Yeah.
longer, and then
Yeah.
Instagram some of my shorter rides. But
That's so fun.
it's great.
Yeah.
I
It's
once
great.
met a man who, when I used to be a church administrator at one point, and so I had to train at a very large church, congregational church. And this gentleman, who was the church administrator himself, who helped build the church, he said he rode his motorcycle. And he
Mhm.
said, I said, do you go to church here on Sundays? And he said, actually, no, I'm here all week. He says, I like to go on my motorcycle as Jesus would and just go on a journey and meet people. Just meet the
Mm.
strangers and they talk to
Mhm.
you when you're alone
Oh,
in your
fun.
motorcycle. He says, and that's the blessing that's what I
Mhm.
do on Sundays. I thought that was
Right.
this such a sweet thing.
It is. It is a sweet thing, and I'm glad you do that. Maybe one day my 50-year-old self will get out there and actually learn how to ride because my husband loves it. So maybe I will do that because
Oh,
it's one of my things. It's one of my things on my bucket list. We'll see if I'll do it in my 50s. We'll see. So
I'm
Michelle,
55. Go for it.
oh yes, I'm going for it, woman. You look so much younger. Wow. Okay. So Michelle, I'm gonna get into it because I read your bio and I'm sure that my audience is like, what? Talk to me, woman. What are you talking about? You've been through quite a bit of a journey in your life, and I can see that. I can see why you don't want women to be stuck. I can see that just by reading your bio. Like, I think this is a passion of yours. I think that you're gonna want to see these women free because you know what that's like not to be free. And I do want you to take us on a little bit of a journey of that, if you don't mind, Michelle. I know it's probably a very long story. Um, and we have 30 minutes, so but I do want to know the gist of that, right? I want my audience to know, Michelle, like a little bit of your story and what you've had to overcome to be here, today. So if we can do that, that'd be great. Like, tell us a little bit about the past. And I read a little bit about that forced isolation in a foreign country, and the years of abuse. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, when I was younger, I I wasn't allowed, you might say, to be very connected to community.
Mm,
My parents were divorced. My mother worked all the time. I just didn't have a strong base. And when I was 21, I met a man in a bar and I left Connecticut. I was born and grew up in Connecticut.
mm,
And I went with him down to Florida thinking, oh, a change of scenery. I didn't know him very well. I knew him for about a month and a half. Well, I got pregnant. And fast forward a couple of weeks, I find out this gentleman, well, he was originally from Romania and he
okay.
came to this country in order to have a better life. But he found a darker side of making money. And
Mm-hmm.
it turned out after a couple of weeks of being in Florida that there were some drug dealers that he had swindled while we were down there.
Oh,
And all
wow,
of a
that's
sudden, a couple
dangerous.
of weeks later, yeah, he's like, we have to leave the country. There are people that are after us. So, what do you mean after us? He says, well, you're the American and they know you're with me. So, I had left the country, went to
Wow.
Australia for a couple of weeks. That was the first place he hit me. I was a couple of months pregnant and I realized I'm on a mountaintop in Australia with no money, no health insurance, no family,
Wow.
embarrassed,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
and I had drug dealers after me. So we were in Australia for a couple of months, and we ended up going to France, and that's where I was for the next 3.5 years. The first time I tried to leave him was after he had gone to jail for a bit of time, and I tried to leave him. I was afraid when someone never gives you freedom or bank account or money and hits you,
Mm-hmm.
you lose your power. I
Mm-hmm.
gave up my power.
Mm-hmm.
So I waited till he got out of jail because I was so fearful of the repercussions I would have if he ever found me gone with
Mm-hmm.
our child. So I announced I do want to leave. I said, you could visit her whenever you want. I want to go back to America. And he said, okay, all right. And show me good faith, leave her for the night and come back the next day. Well, I came back the next day and she was gone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Fast forward, I end up going to Romania. He said he would give her to me if I came there and picked her up myself.
So he took her to Romania while you were
Mhm.
gone? Oh my.
I was, yeah, overnight. Like he just took her out of the country. He
Wow.
sent her out. So I went to Romania, and when I arrived, I got the worst beating. And my ribs, he just kicked me to the floor in the kitchen, and he told me, you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to stay here and be the mother to your daughter.
Mm.
So I was there for another 3.5 years. I had another daughter that I cherish. I cherish both my girls,
Yeah, of
and I
course.
really wanted my my daughters to have each other because I probably was not going to make it out of the country. Once you see how someone works, he was even stronger in his
His own
black
country, right?
market,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, business dealings, even more in his own country. And black market, you're tied in with the police as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not going to leave without my children. So I waited, and a day came where someone came to the door. He was out, my husband was out on a trip in Italy, and someone came to the door and he returned a large envelope. And he said, "This is for your husband." So after he left, I went to the safe. I found, like our guns and whatever in the safe, and I went to put the envelope in there. But I found the bigger treasure. I found both my girls' passports,
Oh,
American
wow.
passports. Normal, they were not on site because he would keep them at his mother's house, so I couldn't get them.
Right.
So I had what I needed. I had money in my hands for the first time because I never had more than
Mm-hmm.
maybe $20 in my pocket ever, and the passports and the money. Now, of course, that was very difficult. What do I do first? Because
Right. Right.
if I buy the tickets and I needed a passport, a visa stamp, and my younger daughter's passport because she was born there. It's one of these crazy
Oh,
things. She couldn't leave the country without showing she had
right.
some kind of entry visa. But I'm like, she was born here. But if I get the passport visa stamp first, because he knows these people, and I don't get the plane ticket, it was just one of
Oh
these,
man, that's
and everything
tough.
had to happen in 24 hours.
Right.
So fast forward, I get it done. The next day, I grab a suitcase, my girls, everything was left behind. Pictures, baby albums, photos, all the things you save when you have your kids. My girls were two and 6 at the time. And
Oh
all
man,
of
and
them
they're
I
little.
had to leave behind,
Oof.
and they're little.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I told the police there when I went for the visa, they're like, "Do your husband know he's leaving?" I said, "Oh, my mother had a heart attack and she's dying and I need to go back." So, I tipped him whatever I needed to do and got out of there and got on the plane. I made it back, and he came after me. And the courts here they don't understand when you're dealing with someone like this. They really don't
Mm-hmm.
comprehend,
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm.
even though you show them copies of false passports and things. They just don't comprehend it.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
A year later, after having supervised visits with the children, my pro bono attorney had in the final divorce decree there's an agreement between Romania and America where Romania will honor American court judgments. And of course, he swore he would never take them, never take them. And then on the first unsupervised visit,
Of
I
course.
dropped them off,
What an
came
animal.
back at the end of the weekend, went to, I was picking up at a church in the fall. It was October. And sorry. And he didn't show up. So,
All right.
yeah, that was the beginning. And then the news here were wonderful, very supportive. It was, Good Morning America, the local Westport News, the police, very involved. Christopher Shays at the Times got
Mm-hmm.
very involved. And a month and a half later, I uh, got back the younger daughter.
Were they still in the States?
No, in Romania.
Oh, they were in
I don't know.
Romania.
I still don't know how he got them out of the country.
Wow.
Yeah. So I
A
got one.
month and a half must have felt like an eternity, Michelle.
Oh, yeah. And when I came back, I had never finished my college degree. So when I first came back to the US with the two girls, I was like, I'm getting right on it. I found a job as a bank teller. And then I signed right up for North Community College. I'm like, I have to get a degree to support my children. I have to
Yeah,
be able to, because obviously I wasn't going to get any help financially.
right.
So I was going to school, working, going to school at night and working during the day. And I was on social assistance to have insurance and a little bit of food stamps and things.
Mhm.
I was living with, I had to go stay at my mother's house, my stepfather, because I'd work all day and then I'd see them for dinner and then I'd kiss them goodbye and my, family would help and they would wash them and put them to bed while I'd go to school at
Mhm.
night. And yeah, and so a month and a half later, I one child was, my younger daughter, was taken back, but the lawyer that was handling the case saw the connection between the local police and their father, and she
Mm,
dropped the case. She's like, I'm afraid, and she
wow.
withdrew from it.
The local police in Romania?
In Romania,
Oh, in
yes,
Romania. Okay.
the Romania
Okay.
local police in Romania, where he lived, he was tied in with them,
Yeah. Yeah.
because he's tied in with the thieves as well as the gypsies, and
Right.
the police, everyone, everyone's
Right.
involved. But yeah, so the lawyer quit. She was afraid of her for her life,
Right.
and then I put out a plea, and I still spoke some Romanian, and I contacted the local Romanian news agent, the news newspaper
Media.
reporters there, media
Hmm.
there, and they put in the newspaper, look what's going on. This American woman can't get her children back, and why are the police not helping?
Mm.
Questioning if they were doing what they were supposed to do as local
Hmm.
authorities. So then I found another attorney from the capital in Bucharest, and he wasn't from a local area, so he wasn't afraid.
Right.
And he helped get back, put more force for my older daughter to be brought back to the U.S. And it was their grandmother, the Romanian grandmother, that brought them back on the airplane
Wow.
to New
Wow.
York. And that's when I got the second one.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So,
Wow. Wow. That's all
yeah.
I could say. I am so grateful to God that you got both your girls back, though. These
Yeah.
stories don't always end this way, Michelle.
No, they don't. They
You
don't.
know.
I'm very lucky. It was called the
Yeah.
Hague Convention Agreement, and not all countries have that agreement.
Yeah. Thank
So
God, right?
many
Thank
times when
God.
it
If anything, it
happens,
was that country. Thank God. And I'm
yeah,
glad you got them back. I mean, were you able to start to try to live somewhat of your life after that? Because I'm sure that even then, the fear, I'm a survivor of domestic violence. And I remember for a long time still looking over my shoulder at everything, can't sleep because you don't know if somebody's coming in through the door or the window. You can't, go anywhere because you don't know if he's going to pop out from behind a car. You don't want to go to work because you don't know if he's going to show up there. I mean, it is a real thing, you know.
it is.
So how did you start to get Michelle back? How did you start to work on Michelle and your girls, and how did you start to move forward in your life?
It was just being focused on what I had to do. I had
Hmm.
no time for a pity party or anything like that. I was
Right.
just like, I'm just going to drive myself ahead
Hmm.
and stay focused on moving my children forward.
Hmm. Hmm.
And my goal was always to be able to support them and be keep good, healthy role models, try to, around them,
Good.
and say what I'm going to do and do what I say. And I
Mhm.
never badmouthed him. I always said, your father loves you. I never said anything
Yeah, I
negative
did the
about him.
same. Mhm.
I said, whatever stresses his stresses in his choice of lifestyle would, he would kind of blow up. So every once in a
Mhm.
while when he would hit me, and the controlling was always ongoing, that was me. That wasn't about them. And I would always say, your father loves you. He just doesn't know a healthy way of showing it.
Mhm.
So for now, he just needs to stay where it's the best place for him, and we can just move forward. So I
Mhm.
always had the girls and myself just focus on moving forward. For me, there
So
was a
good.
time, yeah, after I got back the first child, the police put me in a home for, like, a, what do you call it, a secret home, for
Oh, yeah.
older
Mhm.
home.
For, like, domestic violence
Domestic
and
violence, yeah.
yeah.
So I
Mhm.
stayed there for a little bit, not just a couple of weeks, not that long, but no, I just said I have to move forward. I didn't think
Yeah.
he would hurt them.
Mhm.
It's hard because when you know someone, he had the means, the money,
Yeah.
and the connections in Romania. And
Right.
me, I didn't have anything. And that was
Right.
hard for me as well, because I know, I said, I'm taking my children where I don't have anything. I don't have a college education. I never finished college. I don't
Right.
have the money. I don't have anything to offer them. And he had everything. And that's
Mm-hmm.
something that is, I think, hard for women, because you say, I don't
Mm-hmm.
have anything. I said, but what
Right.
I did have freedom.
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
I had freedom,
Mm-hmm.
and I had goodness. I said, I have
Right.
goodness. Even though sometimes when you're with someone, you have a sense of guilt because you've
Yeah.
been with them. You've eaten the
Right.
food that they've not gotten maybe the most correct way.
Right.
And there's a certain amount of guilt that comes with that. But I
Mm-hmm.
said, I
Mm-hmm.
can offer them freedom. And here in America, I can get away. I can get away.
Right.
There's places to go. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
living in Romania where you have
Right.
no choices.
Right. Right.
I said,
Right.
I will gladly. There were times when I had to go to the food bank to get food and get clothing from, you get like coupons or whatever to go
Mm-hmm.
to Goodwill. I've
Mm-hmm.
done it all.
Right.
And I said,
Right.
at least this is freedom.
Yeah. And
Not
peace.
having someone control. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll wait tables, I'll do whatever I have to do.
Yep. That's what I
But
love about this country.
it
Yeah.
is, and you can
Yeah.
still have that freedom.
Yeah.
So that's what I
That's
focused on.
that's powerful. That's
Yeah,
powerful to focus on that. Yeah.
I loved
Is
my
that I'm
fear
sorry.
when I left him. When I got away from him, after that, it was one of those things, like the night before I left, I prayed to God and I said, God, just let me be the vehicle to get them to freedom.
That's
Whether I
awesome.
make it out of if I don't make it out of the country, just let my children get out of the country. If I
Yeah,
make it
yeah.
there, just let me get the children from here to there. And
Mhm.
then,
Mhm.
that's it. As long as they're
Right.
in a safe country, that they have all the options.
Right. Were you able to maintain that afterwards? Like, did they end up staying with you the whole time? You and the girls just kept trucking along forward?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
I
Great.
I've been remarried. I've been divorced.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
But that relationship left you alone, I hope, after some time, or
yes, yes.
okay.
And there would be
Good.
times where he would try to reconnect, but he would always say things like, "I'll give you money. I'll pay for this for the kids. I'll buy the kids a car, or whatever. But you
Yeah.
have to let me see them." And I said, "Oh no,
Mhm.
no, 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 no,
That's okay. That's
no."
okay. We tried that twice. No,
Yeah,
thank you.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
It's like
right.
no amount of money
Right,
could
right, right.
convince me. Nope.
So Michelle, I mean, that's well, first of all, kudos to you because that takes super strength. It really, really does. And I know that that was scary. I don't care how far away he was in Italy, France, whatever. The first fears that must have came into your mind is he really gone? Is he coming back early? Is he around the corner? Is this a trick? Right? I mean,
Oh
all of that
yeah.
must have crossed your mind,
Oh, of
right?
course,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Even the one night there was a changeover flight. I think it was Austria, and I had to sleep the night there. Italy's close, so I just the whole night. Obviously, I did not sleep because I
right,
was like, if he can simply come there and slit my throat, and
right,
that's
right.
it.
Right.
So,
And I mean, he was already abusive enough that that probably would have been your fate in the future, honestly,
oh
because
yeah,
it increases as you know. If he's kicking you to the point where he's almost breaking ribs and stuff, there's nothing to get to the next level, right? My ex did the same to me. I put a gun to my head and pulled the trigger, and the trigger got stuck or the safety got jammed, and that's the only
wow,
reason why I'm here today, right? So
wow.
that's just to show you that it can go from a quick
Oh
smack
yeah.
and punch here to something completely different, right?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes, and there were
Yeah.
times, I mean, no one, especially once we were living there in Romania, no one messes with him,
Right.
and, I mean,
Ooh, that's even
you see
harder.
someone come home with blood on their clothes,
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Yeah. The
so,
fear is real. The fear is
yeah.
real. I'm so glad though that you got out of it. And I'm glad that you had your girls young enough that you can at least show them how to move forward in their life. That's a gift from God like nothing else, right? Because
Yeah.
you at least thank God that he couldn't manipulate it to the point where they are now in their 20s and 30s and now coming to you. You know what I'm saying? At least you were able to do that. And I'm so grateful that that happened for you. I really, really am. Because I know that these stories don't always turn out this way.
No,
And
they don't.
so And so now I want to like fast forward a little bit, because we're here now, we're here today, and now you're using like all of this victory in your life and all the things you've overcome to impact women, right? So I want to talk to you about that. What drives you to do that, and how is it that you want to pour into women?
Yeah. Well, I just, like you said, I feel very blessed that I've had the time and the health, the mental awareness, to keep it all together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had people say to me, I don't know how you're not an alcoholic or something. I'm like, I don't understand, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just very grateful. I mean, there's nothing easy when
Right.
you're in a situation, in a relationship where, as you know, it's like it's not good there. And so if you find the energy to move forward, it's
Mm-hmm.
not easy on the other side either. So I don't
No,
want
right, of
anyone
course.
to think, oh, life's easy. It's there's always challenges.
Yeah.
But um, this is now 25 years later,
Mm-hmm.
and my children are 34 and the other one's turning 30, and my grandchildren
A
are my two
blessing.
granddaughters, and both my girls are married, finished college. So
Oh,
I'm
good.
extremely proud of them.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandchildren, two girls. So for me, I'm just at a place where I'm just so grateful.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I've always had to do so much, whether it's uh, being indifferent, trying to still find what career I want to be in. What does I want to do? I've switched I've switched careers a couple of times,
Mm-hmm.
and but it's really about the journey.
Yeah.
And I think that I've worked with in the mental health field as well. So I've seen what can happen when you lose hope.
Right. Right.
And to me, I think that one of the gifts we can give other people, and it's what you do too, Neena, is you help people find hope.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
people lose hope, it's all over. It's all
Right.
over. You
Right.
know, I ride a motorcycle, and I'm like, it's kind of like if you go around that corner and you hit that little bit of dirt on the corner, it's taken you out. And if you lose
Right.
hope, it's hard to get back on the track.
Right. Right. It
And
is.
so
It is.
that's what I want to use my energy for.
Good
I
for you.
can't, for me, I just am so grateful for life and the opportunity to just be here. And I want to see more people enjoy their lives and not give up hope,
That's
because I've
great.
seen what happens. Um, at one point, I was helping, working, managing homes for the disabled. I was working in a group home to help women come back and be part of the community. So some were coming from the prison system, prostitution, drugs, and it was Christian based. And I learned so much. Like I never knew how to lead an AA group and a rehab. Like God has exposed me to so much
For such a time, right?
in such a short time, and I'm just like, for me to waste it and watch Netflix, or I'm just like,
Yeah, I love that.
I can't do it. Did God
Right.
give me all this insight and not allow me to, kind of crumble? There's got to be a
Right.
reason. And so I
100%.
love lifting other women and men, because I've met some men that have come and talked to me even on my motorcycle and
Right.
have said, I've seen, your Instagrams or your parts of your speech, and I went through domestic violence as
Oh,
well.
yeah. I know men
And
that have too. Yeah.
yeah, and they're like, there's no group home for men.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they're right. There isn't.
There
There
isn't.
isn't.
There
Mm-hmm.
isn't. So
There
to
isn't.
me, when someone comes to me and says, "You've helped me, you made me feel not alone, you've given me hope," I'm just like, "Ah, that's the best feeling
Right.
ever.
Such a
It's
good
the
feeling,
best
isn't it?
feeling ever." Yeah, it is.
It is. It's the best feeling. I'm so glad though. I'm glad you're doing that. I know before that we're talking before we got on the air. I know that you have some stuff in the works, and you have like a great program that's coming out for for people to uplift them and to help them to move forward and all of that. And I really love that you are not a victim but a victor, right? And that you're using everything that you've been through. So all of your mess is now going to become your message, and that is what you're helping people with. And that is a beautiful gift to the world, because I always tell people, listen, you can look at all of your situations in life and you can be a victim. That's fine. People choose that. That's okay. Or you can look at it and say, how do I use this now to impact and uplift others? And that's what Straight Talk No Sugar Added is about. It's talking about real stuff that
Yeah.
happens to real
Amen.
people,
Yeah.
to be able to really have an impact, because I
Yeah.
truly believe in that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
being through a lot of things in life helps you to really develop this empathy, this way of looking at things, this way of looking at people. Like, even though they're going through, you can look at them and say, oh, but I can see the blessing that's going to come out of this,
Oh
isn't that
yeah. Yeah.
good? So
It's
good.
yeah, it's like I just want to get my hands in people just to lift them up now.
Yeah.
I for probably maybe 15 years I was very involved in the church.
Hmm.
I was, whether it's children, small group ministry. I was part of a Stephen minister for a while.
Hmm.
And this is meeting with people and helping them move forward, because ministers and priests don't have all that much time. So you would meet with them once a week.
Okay.
And there came a time where I started to really learn more about different spiritual practices. The Buddhists, they're amazing practices. And so it came to me at one point where I said, and I led a divorce support group as well for the community at the church, but for the community, all the local churches as well. And it dawned on me that I needed to move outside the church. I
Hmm.
spent a lot of time within the church, but I felt that some people just didn't want to come to programs because they were like, well, I don't go to church. I had a bad experience or whatever. And I was like, well, Jesus went outside and so did Buddha. It went outside to the people. It wasn't in a religion. And
Right.
so that's what actually inspired me just a couple of years, just been a couple of years, to go outside and bring the words and program of just hope
Yeah.
to people.
Yeah.
And so
So
that's why love to speak. I go storytelling.
that's fantastic. That's
Yeah.
good. I'm glad you're using your voice. That's great,
Yeah.
Michelle.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's really
Meet people where
fantastic.
they are,
Yeah.
that's what you need to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what the big virtual world is about too, meeting
Yeah.
people where they are. And so before I let you go, because I know this has been a phenomenal experience for my beautiful viewers and listeners. So before I let you go, I do want them to connect with you. So let us know all of that, like websites, Instagrams, whatever you want to share on how my audience can really connect and get hope, and even your program when it's launching and all of
Yeah.
that great stuff. So tell us about how we can connect.
Yeah. Well, I have my website. It's michelletrieste.com. And I will put the upcoming program up there. You'll see some of the different speaking, just to give you an idea of different topics that I can talk
Oh,
to.
great. Hmm.
If there's a company that says, okay, well, our audience, we're at this company or that company, then, we'll tweak it and they can let me know what it is that they would like to give their group. And so
Okay.
I'll tweak it. And then for ongoing, I'm pretty active on my Instagram.
Yeah. What's
So
that? Is
yeah,
it the same, Michelle Trieste?
um, you can put in Michelle Trieste, but you can also look for Moto Madam M.
All right.
It's fun. I want to have fun, right?
All
So
right.
Moto Madam M.
Okay. Awesome. Yes.
The madam is the spiritual side of
I
things.
got you. I got you. That's awesome. No,
Yeah,
that's great,
you gotta
Michelle.
have fun. You just
Yeah,
gotta have
you
fun.
do. You
So yeah,
do.
I'll put even some little bit of clips from my motorcycle rides when I go with different groups, and then also I have a YouTube that I put more longer rides on it, and sometimes I'll put some of my talks on YouTube.
Hmm.
But in the next quarter, I'll have much more on YouTube
Okay.
as well as LinkedIn. But keep an eye out on
Perfect.
my Instagram and my website and connect with me. I'd
Awesome.
love to hear from you guys. and I love watching you, Neena. I love,
Thank
watching
you.
your your walk as well, and the
Thank
people
you. I
you're
appreciate that.
I
And
love your
thank you.
audience too.
Yeah,
So
I got a
been
great
watching.
audience.
It's great.
Yeah, they're awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Michelle, for
Uh,
really opening
Thank you for
yourself and
having
your
me.
heart up. I really
Great sharing
appreciate
with
it.
you, dear.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Guys, I love you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and Michelle. I'm going to make sure to link all of Michelle's information below so that you can go ahead and click on there. You probably don't even want to wait. You want to just already go on there and follow her. So make sure you do that. Her energy is good, right, guys? I told you I always find the best humans on the planet, and Michelle is definitely one of them. So
Another
thank you
fiery
guys.
woman.
So thank you guys for being here. I love you so much. And yeah, like, share, subscribe. You know the deal. Until next time.